So I just watched the 2 previous videos, and the simple conclusion is, and which is why I was inspired to make the videos, because I was realizing that, I am realizing that, is that as the soul is taking over the driver, you know, the driver's seat, because this has been in my dreams very often, that I'm sitting in the back seat. I'm sitting in the back seat, somebody else is driving, but it's my car kind of like thing, and it's taking me to where I need to go. But like a lot of the time I'm hitching a ride. A lot of the time it's my car. Okay, this is what most of the time it has been. It's my car, and either when I'm driving, I can't, the brakes are not working, so I'm losing control over the car. So it's soul losing control over the body, but also it can only do that through the egoic mind. See, and now I'm disturbed by my own image again, so I have to go get, yeah. 1 second. 1 second. Sometimes it just distracts me. Sometimes I don't mind. Sometimes it distracts me. So, there we go. Yeah, so losing control over the car, or I don't have the control over the car to begin with because I'm sitting in the back seat. Now, who belongs in the back seat? It's the program. It's the egoic mind that is the servant of the soul. And when it is the servant of the soul, which is like, if it's a program, it's a tool, it's this perception that we work with, but when we work with it consciously, it's so much fun. It's only the fear part, when we take it to be true that separation exists, and all the fear-based negative emotions are coming from all the fear-based negative beliefs. Negative beliefs, when I say negative belief, it means, yes, it does create unpleasant feelings in the body, contractions in the body, negative emotion in the body, yes. But it also means that all the stories are based in false premise. All the stories based on separation, where that is believed, they are not in harmony with the truth, because they are not in harmony with the soul. They're telling a story that you are the mind. They're telling a story that you are a separate being, that you are a being with this name, this gender, this body, this look, this age, this story. And I'm not saying all of that is wrong. But if that's the identification, then I am what? Then I am an illusion. Then I am just what I think I am. And I am not realized. It means I'm living out myself through my mind. I'm living through my mind, through my thoughts. And if they are based in false premise, which is that separation exists, then they are based on fear also. And they make for this whole entire, for every single conflict, every single pain, every single everything, that's what they make. That's what they enable. Suffering. They enable suffering. And this is what this is all about. This is about well-being. This is about well-being. So as I desire and choose for the soul to take over, I'm aware of what's going on inside of me. Even when I'm not aware of it, I know that that exists, those identifications with beliefs based on false premise. And I know that that is the source of my suffering. That is the source of my contractions in the body. That is the source of the illnesses in my body. But they can only stay that way when they when they stay in the unconscious, when they stay in the shadow, when they stay when I'm not aware of it. And life will bring us everything to make us aware, because life will throw everything in our way. Because we attract what our landscape is inside, that's what we attract on the outside. And so the negative emotion will attract exactly that same print. Like, you know, there's a myriad of negative emotions. Like, they're all like spices coming together, and each spice, depending on the percentage and what's involved, you know, the spectrum of spices, will create a very, very specific taste, flavor, and that's the same with emotions. And yet we can very clearly know the difference between pleasant and unpleasant emotions. And what we will attract if we have negative emotion, we will attract exactly the situation, the perfect situation that's going to trigger whatever's next in line to be felt, whatever's next in line to be healed, whatever's next in line to be seen, because we're ready to see it, because we have gone through what we need to in order to prepare us to be able to become aware of this, whatever it is that we believe in that makes us feel bad, whatever it is that we believe in that is based on false premise, so we're believing in a lie about who we are and about this life, about existence, about reality. Because that's what reality all has in common, no matter where, in which universe, no matter how far away, no matter in which dimension, in all of existence has one thing in common. And that is that separation doesn't exist. Only as an illusion. It is the only true illusion. It is the mother of all other illusions. Like, I'm not talking about an illusion like a Fata Morgana. That's, you know, yeah, that's also an illusion. That's not the illusion I'm talking about. I'm talking about the illusion that makes the difference between heaven and hell. Because I'm only talking about well-being. I'm only talking about healing suffering. When you're interested in healing your suffering, you're ready to heal. You're ready to heal. And no matter what it is, no matter what it is, no matter how much you suffer, every suffering in the universe, in the multiverse, in the infinity of universes is based in the same root cause, and that is the mind unconsciously identified with thought-based thinking, based on the false premise that separation exists. Now, still, when I say that, it's logical and it feels good. And it also is good to know this, because now you know where your suffering comes from. And you also know it comes from being based on a lie. And then the healing can begin. Because now that's sorted, you can begin to feel. It is where the soul is falsely identified. And the soul remembers itself as a soul. And as it does that, by becoming aware of, sometimes you become aware completely of the actual beliefs or the actual thoughts that don't feel good. And you become aware of them because you don't feel good. And so you notice you're not feeling good and you're noticing, okay, that must mean that I am focused on something that's not true. Okay? And so you can then go ahead and start feeling it, just the sensation of it, you know. As I said, that's the touch. That's what relaxes the contraction. And with the relaxation of the body, and with this understanding that you are the soul, and the soul is made of light. This is everything. It's just that some life forms, they, you know, as the more higher in vibration they go, the more light they can hold. And it really means the less contracted the body is. And it also means that the program of the egoic mind unconsciously identified with the belief in separation also becomes more and more transparent. I mean, actually, the soul is only in its last form, in its last stages, like fourth and fifth dimension. I think it starts at fifth dimension. Sorry, fourth and third dimension, lower fourth. Now every dimension okay, now we have to go back to the semantics of it. Every density has 3 dimensions. There's 5 densities, 15 dimensions. So within the density of the first density, there's 1, 2, 3. No, that can't be. Yeah, that can't be. Right, 5 densities, 15 dimensions. Yeah. Okay. I think that when we talk about 5D, 5th dimension, yeah, right. Let's leave out the densities. But just so we know that there's 3 within each increment, threshold of a greater, and each of those 3 are already dimensions, and each of those 3 is like an octave in itself. And the Earth apparently is now at 4th, heading into 5th, and apparently, because this is not, I don't know this 100%, but I hear it all the time, and you know, just don't nail me on the exact frequency when that threshold happens, but I think it's about at 5th dimension that there is unity consciousness. That's how then the soul is embodied, or how the body has ascended and the soul has descended into the body. So the soul embodies, that's like the descension of the soul, as the body ascends. So it's not a real descension. It's just they come together and they meet in the middle. And as I said, the body actually is the soul. So how can that be? It's just the mind that keeps it apart. It's just what mind? That part of the mind. That part of the mind that is falsely identified. Only that part of the mind, because all the rest of the mind is like the whole time aware. You know, it's awareness. It's awareness. It's awareness. It's awareness. It's also there's also identification, which is happening. That is, however, in harmony with the soul. You see, there is identification. Like, okay, I am a woman. I am in this body. I'm identified with this body. Absolutely, I'm identified with this body. But am I this body only? And when this body dies, I am no more? No. That I know. That is clear. It is absolutely clear to me. So I have this identification, but it is not... It's like a marriage where I feel completely free. Completely free, completely myself, and I just adore to be married. It's like that. It's not shackles, it's wind beneath your wings, because you get to play this exciting, you get to have this exciting experience. And as I consciously desire my soul to take over, and I do the things that feed my soul, I give my soul the time, and how to do that, I was describing that before. Then also everything that's coming from the mind, the stories the mind is telling, the thoughts I'm having, also where the mind is then taking over and saying, didn't you want to do that on Saturday? So maybe we should go and do this now. So, you know, it's like the mind is a part of it, but it's no longer fighting the body, or it's no longer trying to take attention away from the body. Because when the soul is in charge, the soul is the body, and the soul is also aware of the mind. And everything falls into this coherence. So even though it may not be already in like the perfect harmony, every aspect of you may not already be in that perfect harmony. However, from that moment on, where the soul increases, the harmony increases, and the coherence increases. And as the coherence increases, that's the ascension. It just keeps going and keeps going. It's like a snowball. I mean, it's exactly like a snowball, because as it keeps rolling faster, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So as it begins, you know, it gets easier and easier, and the soul comes through easier and easier. Oh, right, exactly. And the other thing I wanted to say, which is why I made these videos, is that the soul naturally knows how to heal the body. And everything it does, and everything you think about, and everything, so like the directions that you're drawn to, what you're interested in, you start to trust it, because the soul knows. And so as you allow the soul forth, you can lean back. You know, this is the letting go. Because the soul is genius. It knows everything. It just knows everything. All of any problem we ever had, any pain we ever had, only came because we were not aware of who we are. You know, it only came because of this false identification. And as that becomes transparent and it loses power and the soul comes through, it falls away, and more of your light stream that has been split off comes back into the mother stream, you know, to column of light, and it becomes stronger and stronger, just like rivers, creeks, all flowing together into the mother stream. And the mother stream, the soul stream, is aware that it is one with the ocean. Even if your drop now is not swimming in the ocean, physically, let's say, still on a spiritual level, which means on the level beyond 13th dimension, everything physically is one already. Everything physically is one. And by the time we are beyond 15th dimension, we're back to absolute unity consciousness and the experience of like that ocean or non-separation. I've actually experienced it once. Yeah. Yeah, it's very difficult to describe. But what I can say is, when all frame of reference falls away, that I've experienced a couple times. And of course, every time is different. When all frame of reference falls away, there's nothing more to bounce off of in the mind. So the mind is completely relaxed. The mind is completely open. There is no frame of reference. What happens is there is absolutely no fear. There is no fear. Yeah. But it's more than that. It's like, this is who I am. And that's not even, that thought isn't there. This is just coming afterwards. It's absolutely recognized. It's like how it's always been. That's who you are. That's who I am. And I'm home. And I've always been home. I've always been home. Of course, you recognize that. That you can never, ever not be who you are. Truly. Only in this perception, only in perception, And of course, I say only, but it's that one thought, that separates heaven and hell. It's that one thought, that one belief that is unconscious in separation that creates hell. And so you can say, oh, it's only perception. No. But the experience of hell is hell, Who cares whether it's only perception? Hell is hell. But it's also beautiful to realize this. So the soul lives in that unity consciousness. And it also is knows exactly how to heal itself. So you will be drawn to foods. You will move in particular ways. You will be attracted to do things. All of this, which is perfect to everything, every system, every little system within you that came out of balance, to bring it back into balance. Because nature always is balanced. Nature always is, when we say we, humans bring nature out of balance with their interference, but it's really not the humans at all. It is only this one thought, is this identification with this one lie that brings everything out of balance. It's just that one basic illusion that brings everything out of balance. And so humans that are so identified unconsciously, maybe, at a certain percentage, then we feel disconnected from our nature, from who we are. And then that is from that disconnection we also interact with nature on the outside in our environment from a disconnected standpoint. And so we can act against it, and we can act against ourselves. We sabotage ourselves that way. And that's the falling, of course. That's the contraction. That's the falling asleep. That's the pain. That's the suffering. Out of which we then, when the time is ripe, begin to emerge. You know, that's why I think they like this image of the lotus flower. Uh, you know, that this gorgeous flower that grows out of the darkest, you know, that the seed grows in the darkest place. You know, the seed of the most beautiful flowers and trees, they're in the darkness, and in order to sprout, you know, pop open and sprout, they need a lot of pressure somehow, I think they have to, like, a lot of pressure has to build up in a seed. To grow to its full potential. Yeah, that's kind of a nice analogy.